Howdy, Rob here. So, you should have completed all the previous lectures before ending up here today. And if you haven't, I highly recommend doing so, as this lecture is a little more advanced and has a few animation principles thrown into the ring just to confuse you more than ever. Okay, so first things first, print out the action pose construction image in your folder to practice with, or 10 if you really love to practice. This lecture is a little different because I will be starting from scratch. In the previous lectures, I used a process from the Draw 8 method that uses construction images to help you understand how to draw quicker. You were effectively starting at the halfway point, which gently introduced you to the process of drawing, and believe me, this method works extremely well. I'll be posting artwork from all my old students that have only been drawing for 6 months up on Facebook, so watch out for it. In this lecture, I'll be starting from the very beginning in a really loose format with heaps of rough lines drawn lightly. I call this fleshing out the form, building it up, and moulding it into a character. You have two options on where to start. Option 1 is to start right here. Watch, learn, and copy how I start the drawing. Or, if you are lacking confidence, begin with your action pose construction image right in the middle of this lecture. You all have noticed that I have begun to draw this character with some sweeping line work. This helps me to give my character fluidity or naturalness. I have used a line of action, which is an animation principle that I will cover in further detail at a later date. As you can see, he is hanging from a rope. I have indicated by curving the rope that he is now hanging and swinging from it. I have also introduced weight to the equation, along with some basic movement and transfer of this weight. Hands are drawn as simple rounded shapes. Arms are loosely drawn lines that follow their natural curve, and legs and feet are roughly sketched in with thick lines. Take note of the vertical line from the hand to the base of the neck. This is yet another animation drawing principle called straights on curves, also explained in future episodes. So once I'm happy with my rough line work, I then start to commit to this line work by drawing darker. Drawing in a directional line will help you to keep your character on point. This is more to benefit you and obviously won't be used in the final drawing. I have also drawn a line where the weight is shifting to on the rope. Finish off by sketching in the shadow underneath your character and also add some random dust. This will give your character a sense of place. Okay then, now's the time to pull out that action pose construction image. You will have noticed how light it is. This helps when you are drawing the detail on top of the shapes. When you have a go at drawing the construction image yourself, try and keep the same opacity coming through. As per normal, start your detail by drawing in the facial features. I do this first to give my character his personality, which helps me then to draw the rest of his frame. The guidelines will help you to place his features, and don't forget when you're drawing to still keep drawing lightly, as there is no doubt that you'll be making mistakes. So you should now have the eyes drawn in, the ears, nose and mouth and eyebrows all ready to go. Right, now we begin to work on his thick as neck, his chunky chin, and touch-ups around his face, such as the shadow in the mouth, tufts of his hair, and his goofy hat. Okay, so here's a little tip. When you are shading in parts of your character, keep the angle of the line work the same for each stroke. Cool. When drawing in the hat, lightly sketch in the shape of a box, and make sure to have this sitting on the arm to give a sense of depth. It also adds to an interesting silhouette in that particular area. So silhouettes or outline is part of the draw rate method and helps you to place objects in the right area. Look out for this in the draw rate method lecture series. Once you're happy with your construction sketch and you think that all the shapes and line work are in the correct place, you can now start to commit with darker strokes by pushing a little harder on your pencil. You can now start to use a sharper pencil for the detail, especially for the facial features. This is the time to really focus on detail and to slow down and take your time. The second part of your drawing should take twice as long as you did with the first half, so just keep that in mind. I now give you permission to sometimes use an eraser. Only sometimes, not all the time. And now I'm having a go at drawing the rope. As I said earlier, I have added a weight source, which is the character hanging off it. Mastering this technique can do wonders for your self-confidence, but don't worry too much at this stage if you are struggling with this principle, especially if you are new to drawing. Do what I do, take a deep breath, count to 5, 3, exhale, and do your best. I'm also drawing the hands holding the rope. Once again, this is another advanced drawing technique, which still gets me occasionally. So I won't jump down this rabbit hole right now, but may save it for a rainy day. It's at this stage that you can sort of potter around the character and begin touching up spots that you've missed, a little bit like cleaning the house. Start to darken up your line work as most of the guessing has been done. The dust particles are some of my favourite things to draw as it gives the illusion of movement. Also, by drawing in the shadow below the character, this also gives the viewer clues on what he is up to. In this case, swinging like a fat man. Drawing in darker lines in strategic places can add more depth and contrast to your character, especially inside the mouth. Adding some shadow to the back arm also adds some depth. Continue darkening your lines until you are happy with the results. So the hands for me in this drawing are proving quite difficult, and in this case I would tend to redraw them a few more times and also use some pretty solid reference material of similar characters that are also holding ropes. If you seem to be having the same problems that I am, let's start a Drawing Hands for Depressed Artists group. Hit me up when you've created it. I'll be in. Okay, we are now coming to the end of this action pose lecture. It was quite an advanced episode, and I did introduce you to a few drawing principles that, once mastered, will help you to draw better and with more confidence. I recommend that you try completing this lecture with and without the construction image to test your level of drawing. Please post whatever you do on my Facebook group, or if you are feeling a little shy, just flick me an email and I will give you some solid feedback. This is Rob. Peace out.